Belinda began her walk just as the sky started to soften. The sun was still low, its light stretched thin across the water, turning the surface of the ocean into something between silver and blue. The beach was nearly empty at this hour, the sand smooth except for a few early footprints and the faint tracks left by birds who had already finished their morning work. She liked this time best. An hour, that was what she gave herself each morning. Not as a rule exactly, more as a quiet agreement. An hour to walk, to breathe, to let the day approach her instead of the other way around. Belinda slipped off her shoes and carried them in one hand, feeling the cool sand shift under her feet. The tide was halfway out, the water close enough to hear but far enough to leave her dry. Waves folded over themselves in a steady rhythm, unhurried and unconcerned. She walked at a pace that felt natural now, one she'd found over years of doing this. Not fast, not slow, just steady. As she moved, her thoughts wandered the way they always did here. She thought about mornings long past, when her walks had been interrupted by small hands tugging at her legs, by voices calling her back inside. There had been years when an hour alone felt impossible, years when even 10 minutes felt like a gift. Those years were gone now. Her children were older, taller, more certain of themselves in ways that sometimes surprised her. The house was quieter in the mornings, not empty but settled. Belinda reached a stretch of beach where the sand sloped gently toward the water. She walked closer to the edge now, letting the waves reach her feet before pulling away again. She thought about the word successful. It wasn't one she used often when thinking about motherhood. It felt too final, too neat. Parenting, she had learned, was never finished. Even now, even as her children moved through their own lives, she felt the invisible threads between them, stretching but never breaking. Still, the thought came to her more often lately. Had she done well? She replayed moments without meaning to. Not the big ones, the birthdays, the milestones, but the ordinary scenes. Sitting at the kitchen table late at night, waiting for a door to open. Standing on the sidelines, hands in pockets, watching without interfering. Listening more than speaking. She remembered the mistakes, too. The times she'd been too tired to explain things properly. The moments when impatience slipped in before understanding. The days when she wondered if she was getting anything right at all. The waves answered none of it. They rose and fell the same way they always had. Belinda smiled slightly. She had learned over time that success in motherhood didn't announce itself. It didn't arrive with certainty or applause. It showed up quietly in confidence that wasn't loud, in kindness that didn't ask for recognition, in resilience that looked almost like ease. She thought about the way her children handled disappointment now, how they stood back up, how they tried again, how they asked for help without shame. Those things hadn't happened by accident. Belinda reached the halfway point of her walk and turned back toward where she'd started. The sun had risen higher now, warming the air. More people had arrived on the beach walkers, runners, a couple sitting quietly near the dunes. She passed them without interruption, nodding once or twice. As she walked back, she felt a familiar sense of calm settle in her chest. Not pride exactly, something softer. Contentment. She knew there would always be moments of worry. That never went away. But walking here, with the ocean steady beside her, she allowed herself this thought. She had been present. Not perfect, not always right, but there. By the time Belinda reached the steps leading off the beach, her hour was nearly over. She slipped her shoes back on and took one last look at the water. The day was ready now, and so was she,